What's up, ladies, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Diana and I'm the founder of Money Boss Mama, where I teach you how to improve your money habits so that you can start building your savings and paying off debt. And if you've noticed, we've kind of been on like a credit card debt journey on this channel, so I'm just gonna keep the flow going, and I'm going to share with you guys how I budgeted my credit card debt and how I teach my clients how to budget their credit card debt as well, because we all know the minimums do not stay the same, and it can kind of get a little confusing when it comes to trying to set a budget that you don't have to change over and over again. So I'm going to teach you guys this little trick to keep your budget kind of the same so that you have some consistency. And this is really good for those who don't have a high income. I use this for when I was low income to eventually get to a point where I was applying a lot more than what the minimum required. So if you are in credit card debt and you are struggling to figure out how to budget your minimum payments, then keep watching. All right, so I got my setup here. So the first thing that you want to do is list out every single card that you have that you owe a payment on, or you have a balance on. And so here I just made an example, because oftentimes when people have credit card debt, it's more than one credit card, right? So I have American Express, Citi, Discover, as well as Chase. And now when it comes down to the minimum payment that you want to write down, it needs to be the minimum payment, the most current one. And so we have one that's $69, $27, $32, and $30. And so I'm going to add this together to see if it was in a budget, how much credit card debt would be costing you. So $158 is going to be the total of all your minimum payments. So when it comes to actually incorporating your credit card debt or minimum payments into your budget in a way that allows for your budget to be somewhat consistent, so you're not having to change it every single month or every single payday, you want to choose one specific debt to focus on first. It can be, you know, the snowball method, the avalanche method, or you just pick a random one, whichever one you want to focus on first. And that's going to be the credit card that you're going to apply, you know, the most extra to. And then obviously when that one's knocked down, you'll roll that over to the next credit card in line that you choose to start with. So let's just say that we want to start with Discover. So this is where we're going to put our main focus, is with Discover. Now, whenever we put them in the budget, I always recommend either rounding it or adding a little bit extra, so that it's more so like an even number. So like with $69, and you know, sometimes it could be even more wonkier than this, I would recommend rounding this to just like $70, just to keep everything looking you know, somewhat uniform in your budget. So let's make that $70. That's what we're going to write in our budget. We'll make this one $30. This one, we can keep that the same because it's an even number. And so this one's $32, and it is the one that we are focusing on. So let's say that we want to add an extra $20 to it. So that's going to be $52 that we're going to apply to this card every single month. But that would make it $52. So let's add an additional $8 and make that $60. And so these are the numbers that we are going to write down in our budget. That's going to be $190. So not too far off from the original minimum. And so obviously this total is going to be based on the frequency of your budget. Whether you budget weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, you're going to need to adjust this total to meet your budgeting frequency. So with me, I am a bi-weekly person. Most of my clients have been bi-weekly. So let's say that we are going to divide this 190 amongst each paycheck evenly. So let's see what that would be. 190 divided by 2, that's going to be $95. And so we are going to apply $95 per paycheck to all of these cards. Now obviously your minimum payment is going to come due on a specific day of the month, hopefully towards the end of the month. So the way that I would do it is I would make half the payment using one paycheck, and then for my next payment I would make that with my other paycheck. But you do want to make sure that when it comes to both of your payments being taken out, it's going to satisfy the minimum payment before the actual due date or by the actual due date, so that your payment is not late. Another option is just to mark your actual due dates, and then whichever paycheck that's going to fall on, that is when you will pull the minimum payment for that. Now let me show you how this is actually going to help you keep your budget consistent. So obviously, as long as you don't use the card, your minimum is going to reduce somewhat. It may not be by very much, but hopefully it is still reducing. And so let's say by the next month, our minimum payment for Discover is, let's say, I don't know, $61. Minimum payment for City dropped to $25. Discover dropped to, let's say, $28. And then Chase dropped to, let's say, $28. And so obviously that's going to be less than the original amount. Let's add that up. So that's 61 plus 25 plus 28 plus 28. So that is $142 versus the $158 that we had before. Now remember that we want to maintain consistency in our budget. And so this means that you're going to keep the budgeted amounts the same. So even though your minimum payment reduced, the amount that you have in your budget for this card each month, you're going to keep it the same. And so we are going to pay $70 towards this card, $30 towards this card, $60 towards this card, and then $30 to this card, which is still going to be that $190, right? And so as you can see, every single month, the idea is for the payment that you have budgeted to start exceeding that minimum payment. So you're adding in extra every single time, because even though the minimum payment is reducing, your budgeted amount is staying the same or preferably increasing. So this is still going to give us an extra amount of $9. This is an extra $5. And yes, it does make a difference, you guys, I promise. This is an extra $32. And then this is an extra $2. Not the best, but it's still extra and it still got paid on time. So you have extra payments that are being applied to these balances every single time. And so when this payment is sent over for the next month, let's say this drops to like $56 or $55, and this is all going to decrease as well. And for the Discover card that we're applying extra to, whenever you start seeing this gap increase, you can actually pull from the excess and apply it to the main balance that you have, just to get that knocked out, the one that you are attacking first. And then when this one is gone, you're going to roll that payment to the other credit card that you have. So let's say when this one is gone, you're going to have $60 to apply to let's say to American Express, because that one has the highest minimum. So that tells us that that balance is probably the highest out of these four. And then you keep the snowball rolling this way. All right, ladies, so that wraps up this video. I hope this was super helpful to you all. And if you have any additional tips, be sure to leave them down below. Let us know how you are budgeting your minimum payments, and I will catch you all in the next video.